Okay. Oh, man. How do I follow that? You guys, okay, first of all, I want to say one thing. Everybody's here because of that. And I already said that for both the toast, but thank you. And we're going to do it again in, when is it going to be? Are we on schedule? Have we decided? Because everybody should leave this room tonight knowing when it's going to be, I think.
May 2015.
Okay.
Sometime in 2015.
2015. Okay. Because, you know, I'm amazed, and I talked with Duncan about the fact that here we all are, and we still like each other after, my calculation is roughly 1,000 years of living since we graduated, okay? 30 times 30 is 900 something, so, you know, so here we all are, and I don't know that the other section that, you know, okay, here's a good story. Here we are, you guys don't even remember this. We're standing in the parking lot of the O Club, counting off, and they're going to divide us in half, our class. Half is going to be, you know, John Black, and half's going to be whatever they were, no loss or something. So they count off, and then it's just like, it's totally arbitrary. And Rob Matmeller's standing here, and he's in no loss, and they count off, and they go, get over here, and he's here. And now he's with us, and he's here tonight. And if he would have been like right here, he'd have been those assholes in the other section, and we would have never known it. So, I mean, think about it. I mean, that's how, I mean, it's totally arbitrary that we're all together here, but, you know, we all got along, okay? And so we all arrived at UPT, you know, we all have our own stories, and we were all, you know, this guy was a lawyer. Everybody at graduation, everybody's parents were going, "You were such a good boy, you made it through pilot training." And his dad's just sitting over in a three-piece suit looking at him like, "Ah, you ass. You left the firm, you know, to do this."
Surrounded by
Now you're surrounded by assholes. So anyway, so we all show up, and I know, afraid, you know, unprepared, you know, I mean, so here we are, and we made it all through together. And the class leader, who's kind of the mission, Duncan, was like, get all these guys through. And so look at us, and we all made it through. I mean, really. I mean, you did a great job, I gotta say. So glad I say. That was the first impossible assignment that you made happen.
The hardest thing I did my whole career.
That was it. So anyway, this guy has been putting on a uniform for like, since 1970, like 41 years, and in 5 weeks you're not going to put a uniform on after that, right? I mean, so I'm thinking that he has he's the longest tenured, right? He's still in, and nobody else here is on active duty, are they? Wait, Garfield, go ahead.
I think the Walmart reader thing still counts as uniform.
Okay, wait, I gotta go in the big with you. Guard puke. I was in the Guard for 20 years, so if you were Guard puke, I'm Guard bulimia. I was like, man, I outlasted you. So,
I have bulimia too, I just don't purge.
So we have one guy from the academy, one guy from the Guard, and the rest of us were like ROTC or any OTS guys? Any OTS? Any guys like? Everybody else was ROTC? OTS. So.
Yeah, Phil and I were OTS.
Phil Hyde. So a couple OTS, and the rest of us were like wusses, you know, California, Berkeley, ROTC, carry uniform in a bag, go, you know, put it on, do a couple of likes in the building, and then take it off. So they burned my building down too. My core, you know, where we had core meetings, Callaghan Hall doesn't exist at Berkeley. They burned it down 2 years after I left. So, you know, there you go. So anyway, we show up at pilot training, and I wish somebody had the nerd movie because it was great. Everybody in this room, I think, got to put on the little, you know, Groucho Marx glasses and be the nerd at one time. So it was like this guy shows up at pilot training, and he goes through everything, and he finally graduates. So we went through a lot together, and having a common enemy draws people together. You know, whether you're prisoners, you know, whether you're, you know
about that?
Sport. Ricky. We were cellmates. So anyway, I think that having the common enemy drew us together, and here we are, you know, like 900 years later of aging. So everybody has a story. It's really good to see. I think I talked to everybody here in the room because it was pretty cool catching up on everybody. And all I can say is that we have something special, and in 4 years and many months, we'll do it again. You know, so in my story from pilot training, you guys have all heard it before, but I flew. I think I was behind Mark. Here's this thing as a solo cross country. First of all, you know, we flew this little plane that was kind of like blunt in the front, didn't go so fast with straight wings, and then after we had like 50 or 60 hours of training, we got into this pointy thing that went supersonic, you know, and we could get in trouble in that thing. And so here we are going solo cross country from Phoenix, Arizona to somewhere in LA, March Air Force Base. And so we're all like, this is the easiest thing. I can hear the radio changes of the guy in front of me. And every time he answers the radio, we're all going, because he's from Arkansas, you know. So, and it's you're in Phoenix, you know, you're in Arizona, you're in California, and I got the dark visor down, and it's like this beautiful day, and whoever's job was to pick where we're going on this solo cross country. We're supposed to pick a place with good weather. Well, this front had moved in off California, and now there's like this big cloud bank over March Air Force Base, and so we're heading in, and they told me, you know, I was a cookbook guy. It was like, you know, put the gear down, you know. You know. So they said, get a turn and holding. If in fact you have enough fuel, if you have this much fuel, get a turn and holding for proficiency. So I said, oh, give me a turn. You know? So I go into holding, and the holding pattern is in the cloud. So now it looks really bad because I got the dark visor down. Now all the guys behind me are starting to descend, and so now I can't get clearance to do my approach, my 45-mile tack end straight into the SAC base. So hey, I need to start, and they go, no, there's traffic below. So everybody, including, okay, mother duck in the front, mother duck in the back, a bunch of stolos in the back. So the IPs are in the front. So even the IPs by me now. So I'm like got the stick between my legs, you know, and I got the whiz wheel trying to figure out when I'm going to run out of gas, you know, going, damn, you know, I really need to land. And then they go, okay, you have approach. Oh, stand by. The field is closed. And my dad was in SAC, right? I grew up on SAC bases, the Claxton, you know, Walt knows, man, the alerts, you know, and the bus shuts down. Everybody runs out and gets in airplanes and maybe starts engines, maybe not, maybe takes off, maybe not. So I'm thinking, crap, this field is closed, you know, it's an alert. So he says, where's your alternate? And I go, Norton. He goes, okay, turn right to such and such, descend to such and such. And I'm like going, man, the weather's getting worse. And I'm descending, and I'm like all set up for this tack end because the wind is from the coast, because it's a front coming in here. So you've got to go to the east and land into the wind, especially in this T-38 that lands at like 200 miles an hour, you know, with no anti-skid and yeah. So anyway, long story longer, I set up for this approach, and then I get down like 3,000 feet, and this thing maneuvered at like 250 knots, I think. I mean, we're hauling ass. I'm hauling ass with no wings, just, you know, no rain, going through, so no radar, and there's just rain and lightning and everything. I'm going, crap, and I hear a guard, C-141 local trainer, return to base, you know, because of, you know, weather, and I'm like going, crap, man, yeah, I shouldn't even be over here, but so I finally get down where I'm going to shoot the approach, and Ontario approach goes, turn right to such and such, intercept the localizer, you're cleared localizer, you know, 09, orbital land 27, and I'm like, got it. And then I go, wait a minute, I'm set up for the tack end. And he goes, oh no, localizer. And I go, oh, and the localizer in the T-38 is down here. And you like dial something in down here. And then I look up, and all of a sudden, I'm through the clouds already, and I see bases of mountains all around me. And I'm just below the clouds, and it's just, there's no horizon, it's just mountains, bases, and I'm going, shit. and LA. I mean, it's like, you know, East LA, and everything just spread out, you know, and I'm like, man, and he goes, climb back up to 3,000 feet, you're below the min, and I'm going, I like it here. And he goes, and you're passing through the localizer. As soon as I got it down, then so he goes, state intentions, and I go, give me a 360 or 270 back to the left, and I'll like go back and catch this course and go to Norton Air Force Base. So he goes, but you have to climb back, and I go, can't. I go, Willie 2-5 solo, I'm staying right here. You know? Because I was like, I could see the ground, and I didn't want to go back in the clouds. And it looked bad, because I had the dark visor down. So I come around, and this thing just hauling ass around over LA, and I come around and I'm about to hear, and I'm looking and I go, there it is. There's the field. So I go, I got the field inside. He goes, contact Norton Tower on whatever. So I call Norton Tower and the guy goes, okay, you're cleared to circle the land. So I like go out here, geometry, I go out here, I have a turn radius to come back and land. So I do this thing, but my, the length of the runway was not right for my turn radius, so I'm like, shit! So I'm like stroking the burner, going around, pulling, like I'm gonna make it. And I finally get here, and I go, I call base, not inside, continue. I call final, he goes, not inside, continue, and I go, okay, and I look down and he goes, stand by, you're landing at a civilian aerodrome, do not land. And I got the gear down, I'm like 500 feet, and I see a bunch of Cessnas, Shit. So the only thing to do now is go to afterburner, and I climb out, I put everything up, and he goes, what? State intentions, and I go, could I have a radar vector to the threshold? And he goes, this is Norton Tower. He goes, we have no radar, contact Ontario approach, and I go, I don't have gas to do that. I go, and he goes, hang on, and he's this black guy, and he goes, I got you inside. He goes, hang a left. So I look out, and here's all these 141s, and huge airport, and I go, wow, cool. So I roll out, and I'm heading back, heading in, and he goes, you're cleared to circle the land, and I'm like, now the master caution's on, and open the cross-speed valve, you don't have much gas left. So I go, I don't think I can circle. I think I'm just going to land, but it's like 20 knot tailwind. Again, at G38, we were landing at like, Mach. So I touched down on this runway, and I don't know how long it was, 10,000 feet or 11,000 feet, but it's just they have these boards every 1,000 feet to tell you how much is left, and it's just like 8, 7, 6. 1. And the nose is up, because that's the only way to stop it, because the brakes don't work, so you got like this. And finally it comes down, and the plane's doing, like that. So I finally feel like, then it kind of goes like, and I go, oh man, I guess I got a couple flat tires. So I pull off, and I go, hey, I can't clear the high speed, and the tower goes, the field's closed, man. It's like, the field's closed for weather. And I go, well, I can't taxi, and the follow me's going away from me over and over again. So I open the canopy, and it's raining like hell, right? So I get out, and there's this little toe hold that you have to like put your foot in, and because there's no ladder, and then I kind of drop down to the ground, and I'm like, crap, if I had wings, I'd take them off and throw them away. I don't have any, So I tried to take my helmet off, but the dark visor is like, well, this isn't nearly as bad as I had the dark visor down the whole time. So I get in a truck and drive into base hops, and there's all these 141 crews on weather recall, the local trainers, and they're sitting around like, where'd you come from? And I'm soaking wet, a G-suit on, and only my name tag, no wings, and they're like, what do you, and I go, I just came into 238, and they're like, what? Like, what are you doing here? And I go, I don't know, but I'm okay. And they're like, where's your IP? And I go, he's back at Williams, So I called back to the base, and they were like looking for me, of course. Some of you guys were at March sitting there at Spar going, where's Mansell? So get this, the next day, the weather passed. Okay, they came and brought two tires to replace my tires. My tires still had the tits on them, they were brand new tires. They had those little things, and the bottom was just gone. And so the mechanic goes, you landed with the brakes on, didn't you? Perhaps. So he gives me a ride back to March, and I go to the bar like, yeah, it was really bad, lightning, thunder, but I got down. And then the next day, this is Air Training Command, the weather broke where I was, and I was supposed to take off and meet all you guys going back. But you guys were still in the weather at March, and Norton wasn't. So I took off solo after that debacle, flew back to Williams, okay, by myself. So I come back to Williams, and now the weather has moved to Williams. So here I am the next day like, okay, damn, I'm not going to do a high tack in. And I'm like, I see a hole over there, so I'm like, cancel. They go, get below 18,000, you can't cancel. And I'm like, I'm going that way anyway. See you later, and went down and landed, and they took my paperwork, and they did all this stuff and go, you had 26 gallons of fuel left when you shut down. So I almost ejected over early, and Donnie Williams said, there's very few problems that this ejection seat will not cure. And I was thinking about that, but I always thought the plane would be pointed at a nunnery or, like a hospital or elementary school. So anyway, it was a $10,000 flying lesson, and it's kind of like Russ. I thought about that a lot after it happened. And so anyway, Donnie Williams, I just brought him up, and I want to say that guy's here in spirit. He's looking down and he's approving of all this. So right on, you guys. I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm going to see you in 4 years and 7 months, I think. All right? Well, anyway.
Good job. Good job. Where's Don? Any